ray of hope, only to sink to a 4-4 start. But lately they turned into ferocious Barracudas by sinking their teeth into their last two opponents. A shark can taste blood, and the Bolts hope to taste victory today. Last week, Tampa Bay went to overtime to beat a California team. Tony Dungy hopes that lightning strikes twice and that his team isn't the main course of a fish fry. In fact, Tony's got a recipe for success. California plus fish equals what else? Sushi. A sun-splashed Sunday afternoon, sellout crowd on hand at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. Interconference battle today between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Diego Chargers. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Alongside Ron Fitz, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. The playoff chase is on here for the Chargers. They've won 2 in a row. But, Ronnie, if they're going to get back to the postseason for the 4th time in 5 years, it starts with a healthy quarterback in Stan Humphries.
Yeah, he's been out for 2 weeks with a dislocated shoulder, came back last week against Detroit, had a great game, threw for 3 touchdown passes. You know, he's got that Super Bowl air, that Super Bowl strut. When he's in the game, the team also has that same kind of strut. I think what could give them problems today are injuries. 2 people are out. Alfred Papuno, the starting tight end, he's down. It could mean some things in terms of passing the football. Also, Courtney Hall, the center, he's out. Could mean some things in terms of running the football and pass protection.
Well, for Tampa Bay, they feel like their young quarterback, Trent Dilfer, is now beginning to turn the corner. He's coming off perhaps his best day as a pro in the win last week over Oakland.
Yeah, he's starting to improve the way you see it the most. 3rd down conversions. He's moving the chains and keeping the team on the field and moving the football. He's got a stingy defense. They're helping him a lot. They're not giving up a lot of points. I think the one thing they have to do to win this game is kind of how they did it last week against Oakland. Stay in the game, keep it a dogfight, capitalize off the other team's mistakes, and then win it late.
All right, we'll see how it goes today. A raucous crowd at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. The Chargers and Bucks, the opening kickoff next. Flying high as they come in at 6 wins, 4 defeats, trying to make it 3 straight wins. Another sellout crowd on hand here at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. Early games today. Washington, a stunning victory over Philadelphia. Atlanta over New Orleans. Pittsburgh hammers Jacksonville. Carolina leading the Rams late. Buffalo going to 8-3. And the Jets surprising Indianapolis. But in the AFC West, Kansas City will stay a game, 2 games now behind Denver, who remains with just 1 loss on the season. The Broncos having hammered New England today, and Detroit a late winner over Seattle. Tony Dungy's 2-8 Buccaneers coming into town, fresh off an overtime 2017 victory over the Raiders. On the other side of the field, 59-year-old Richmond, Virginia native Bobby Ross. In his 5th year, 44 wins, 29 losses. And they have been to the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, including a couple of Western Division titles and, of course, the AFC Championship 2 years ago.
And like we talked about, Tom, they have some injuries today, and it's just not normal guys. Those are what you would call 2 impact-type people. Alfred Papuno, the starting tight end, will be down along with Courtney Hall.
San Diego has won the toss, selected to receive, and this is Andre Coleman from his own 10-yard line. And Coleman tripped up and falls forward to the 30-yard line, and that's where the Chargers will put it in play. 31-year-old Shreveport, Louisiana native Stan Humphries missed a couple of games with a dislocated left shoulder, returned and threw for 311 yards, 3 touchdowns last week in the win over Detroit. Up front, it'll be Parker and Birdie, the tackles, Bowden and Kukuzo, the guards, and at center, Engel now takes over full-time for the injured Courtney Hall. Russell, the lone setback, Martin and Coleman, the wide receivers, and in the 2 tight end set, Deems May and Shannon Mitchell will get the start with Papuno out.
That was me.
And right out of the gate, an injury for Tampa Bay. Jerry Ellison slow to get up, but now apparently he's going to be all right. What are the Buccaneers defense? What does that unit need to do right from the get-go?
Well, I think they got to try to confuse Stan Humphries. Talking to Monty Kiffin, talking to some of the defensive people, though, before the game. They got to give him some different looks. Give him some things he hasn't seen before. Don't be surprised if they blitz him late, especially without Courtney Hall, the center up front, to give him that communication confidence.
In motion, Shannon Mitchell, and a first down give is to Russell, and he took a lick from John Lynch. The Solana Beach, California native attended Torrey Pines High School. Up front for the Buccaneers defensively, Upshaw and Ahana to the ends. Brad Culpepper returns after missing the last 3 games with an ankle injury. Very solid linebacking group. The heart and soul is Hardy Nickerson, flanked by Brooks, and Martz having his best year. The corners, the rookie Abraham along with Mayhew. Johnson and Lynch are the safeties. Gain of 1 is 2nd and 9, and the pass is caught by Brian Roach, a rookie tight end out of San Jose State, and he's out to the 37-yard line.
Coming into today's game, Tampa Bay talked about Trent Dilfer better at moving the chains. 3rd down, that's a must, and keep the game close, try to win it late. San Diego got to get better in the red zone in terms of defense. They're last in the AFC against the score in this area. For both teams, this is the kind of game, Tom, special teams is going to be very crucial for both teams. Any error, any mistake, I think, could tilt the field in one team's favor.
3rd down and 3. First big play of the game for San Diego, and they convert. And this could go for 6. Charlie Jones, a rookie, touchdown.
Charlie Jones is a guy that has deceptive speed. You put him on the clock, he doesn't do much for you. But you get him on the field, and he'll roast you. He comes across the center of the field on a short drag route, and the missed tackle right there. And now he shows what he does in the game. And it reminds me of the Indianapolis game. He went right up the sidelines. He eats up people's angles, no matter how good angle they think they have on him. Before you know it, Charlie Jones is in the end zone celebrating.
Jones, his 3rd touchdown of the season. It covered 63 yards. And now out of the hold of Salisbury, Carney will tack on the extra point. So just like that, 3 plays from scrimmage, and San Diego hits for the big one. They're already rocking and rolling at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. Charlie Jones, the rookie out of Fresno State, catching a 63-yard touchdown pass. And for Jones, the longest of his career. San Diego, the beat goes on. They're the only team in the NFL to score in the first quarter in every game this season. Carney spins it away. And Marvin Marshall, just signed from the practice squad prior to last week, will bring it out. Crosses at 25 to the 30 and stopped right there at the 32 by Darian Gordon. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Now there's Charlie Jones there. What he's going to do is come up the field in a quick slant. Martin Mayhew looks to have man-to-man coverage on him, and Lynch will be right in there. But it's a good catch, a good throw, and the missed tackle. And now look at the angles he eats up. I mean, he just completely takes Melvin Johnson out of the picture in 2 seconds. Those are the kind of big plays that gets his team going, gets the crowd into the game, and it makes it hard for you to come back afterwards.
So Trent Dilfer, 24-year-old California native, comes out throwing, drops it off to the fullback Allstott out of the backfield, and he crosses the 40-yard line. Dilfer in his first 5 games, 1 touchdown, 10 interceptions. In his last 5 games, 7 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. Up front, Gruber at Odom gets his first start at right tackle. Pine returns after missing with a knee injury the last 3 games. In the backfield, Eric Rett ended a 94-day holdout over a contract to start the year. Allstott having a great first season. Thomas and Hawkins, the wideouts, and Jackie Harris returns after missing the last 3 games with a knee injury. Second down carry is to Eric Rett, and he will come up shy of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and 2. Mims on the tackle. Speaking of the Chargers defense, Mims along with Coleman the ends, Davis and Farella on the inside. Linebacking core, the 5-time Pro Bowler Junior Seau joining Govea and Lou Bush. Secondary, the corners are Terrence Shaw and Dwayne Harper. Ross and Rodney Harrison are the the safety. Ball at 3rd and a long yard.
This is the crucial 3rd down area we talked about with Trent Dilfer.
He has Allstott wide open and hits it. He crosses midfield to San Diego territory, chopped down at the 45-yard line by Rodney Harrison.
And the play, the way this goes is the play action. They're going to come in here with the lead. Everybody's going to think the action is going to take place in here. They're going to sneak Allstott out. Very nicely done. And you talk about, Tom, a guy that has stepped up for this team as a rookie from the first day he set foot on the practice field, Mike Allstott. And what did Tony Dungy tell us last night? He thinks that next year, Mike Allstott is going to be a Pro Bowl fullback. That's saying a lot with guys like Larry Sinners and Jamal Anderson out there.
No room to run for Red, and Junior Seau, the 7th-year pro out of Southern Cal, is there to make the tackle.
Tony Dungy talked about beating this team by #1 being good on first down. We got to look at 2nd and 5 or less every single time. Now, they came out, they had a nice little pass. They did that on the opening first 3 drives, your first 3 plays. But the second thing you got to do is find Junior Seau. Where is he? What is he going to do? Because Seau is everywhere, and nobody can disrupt the game in the NFL like Junior Seau can.
Dilfer to throw on a 2nd and 10, and guns it across the middle to Jackie Harris, and he makes a catch at the 41-yard line. It'll bring up another 3rd down.
See, sometimes Junior Seau pretends to blitz. Other times he drops back into coverage, and there's no true design on where he's going to go. Jim Pine doing a nice job of picking him up there, but you never know where he's going to get. In fact, it's funny. You look at Seau play, it almost looks like he's freelancing and on his own program, but he's not. It's very well designed by Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator, on getting him in positions to disrupt your team offensively.
Dilfer on a 3rd and 6. Hawkins in motion, and here they come after him. And he completes a pass across the middle. Reception made by Carl Williams down to the San Diego 30-yard line. So Dilfer right out of the gate, Ronnie, 2 for 2 on 3rd down conversion.
And the key is the offensive line picked up the blitz. Seau's going to come again, but watch what happens. He's got big Jim Pine right in his face again, and the poise of Trent Dilfer. When you got that line of sight like that downfield, it's easy to make throws and it's easy to make catches. Carl Williams, a rookie, stepping up and making a good play there. The way you get to the Charger team is to take away what they do best. If they can't get to you in a hurry, especially with Seau, then you got them where you want them, on their heel. And now you see a 2 tight end set by Tampa Bay. Expect a run or a very healthy play action on the pass.
Pardon me, Ronnie. Dwayne Harper having to leave the field, and he's shaken up as Dilfer checks off on the line of scrimmage. And again, they come after him. He gets it away, and the catch is made inside the 20-yard line by Rob Thomas. So a most impressive opening drive by San Diego, and now the same thing for the Buccaneers.
Now, see, now Seau goes from an inside linebacker position to the outside. And Mike Allstott has been criticized about his blocking, but does a pretty nice job. It gets a head slap by Seau there. Good poise by Trent Dilfer. And Rob Thomas, he's been a guy that stepped up when they've had receiver problems. Maybe Alvin Harper hasn't been what they want, and I think that's understood, but Rob Thomas definitely has been what they want.
Dilfer has hit on his first 5 passing attempts and now make it 6. And making the reception down to the 15-yard line is Dave Moore, who's really come on in this Buccaneer offense after being plugged in due to the injury of Jackie Harris. So Dilfer is now hit on 6 of 6 to open the game.
And understand this. Tampa Bay has finally gotten people healthy on the perimeters for their passing game. Alvin Harper's been bothered. Thomas has been out. Jackie Harris has been out. You got people in that can make plays for you now.
Darian Gordon, you saw him a moment ago. He has replaced the injured Dwayne Harper. We'll let you know his status in just a little while. Not much room there for Rhett. He may have lost a yard. Now they're saying he fumbled the football, and now the officials are saying no. San Diego trying to win over our referee, Red Cashin, and Red is not an easy man to talk into something.
I just want to hear Red say first down, and look at that right there.
And that one score, of course, came on their opening drive last week in the win over the Raiders.
But see, this is the part of the field. It doesn't matter about all that drive and how many passes you complete. If you don't turn into points down here, it means absolutely nothing.
Third down, up top to the end zone and through the hands of Rob Thomas. So now the field goal unit will come on. Dilfer and the Bucks drive all the way down to the San Diego 15-yard line, and now they're going to have to hope for 3.
Terrence Shaw on the outside did a really nice job, man to man. And Trent's going to just throw this ball up, but he's in between the ball and the receiver. And you know, you might say that's face guard and he wasn't looking at the ball. This year, they're going to let you get away with putting your hands in the receiver face. They're not going to call it.
The holder, Tommy Barnhart, Michael Husted will attempt this 33-yard field goal. And did he get it?
Nope.
No, he did not. Pushed it right. Wow, what a blow to Tampa Bay. And Tony Dungy, after his team marches down the field, and they come away empty. San Diego, with 7:32 to play in the opening quarter, leads 7-0. In front with 7:32 to play here in the opening quarter, and Russell takes a handoff. He's out to the 25-yard line, picked up a couple of yards. San Diego scoring on the third play from scrimmage. A 63-yard touchdown pass, Dan Humphries to Charlie Jones. This game presented by authority of the National Football League is intended for the private use of audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Diego Chargers and the NFL is prohibited. 2nd and 8, play fake to Russell, and Humphries throws to an open receiver, Tony Martin. First down to the 43-yard line. Martin's 60th reception of the year.
We talked about Stan Humphries, and, you know, he hurt that shoulder. It's his left shoulder. It's not his throwing shoulder, but that may affect the way he throws to his left side. In fact, he thought he was a little slower, a little off throwing to his left side, but that time does a pretty good job of throwing a deep comeback. You want that ball to be on the ground away from the cornerback when he comes back to it.
18-yard gain, the 200th reception in the career of Tony Martin, and Russell, a big one. Still on his feet inside the Tampa Bay 40, shoved out of bounds at the 36 by Hardy Nickerson.
Boy, Melvin Johnson just got a shot by Leonard Russell. Whew. Now, Leonard Russell, a load. He may not be that Ronnie Harmon and Natrone Means type guy, but he's a big guy who runs with a lot of power. And if you don't believe me, watch number 25, Melvin Johnson. Melvin Johnson's a great hitter, but he kind of caught that forearm and that knee up in your chest, and that's a bad day.
What you do to me at meetings. The night before the game, Russell will get it again, and why not? He's inside the 35 and tackled at the 34. Brooks, the first man there to meet him.
Talking to Bobby Ross about what's happening with his run game, and he will be the first to tell you, we are not where we need to be running the football. I think it has to do with Means leaving, Harmon leaving. A lot of backs have left this program that have been able to run the football for you good. But also they've had some changes up front. Some people have been hurt. We talked about Courtney Hawkins being out. That affects your ability to run the ball. Courtney Hall being out.
And this time it'll be Terrell Fletcher, his first carry, the second-year back out of Wisconsin. And how about some of the terrific backs that have left here in San Diego?
It's amazing. You look down the list, and it just goes on and on and on. And what's really amazing about it is that none of those guys have stayed more than 5 years. It's been an in-and-out thing. And they are not just guys. They're impact guys. Those are guys that can change games for you. And like I said, the run game has not been the same since guys like Means have left.
3rd down and 7. Humphries flushed out of the pocket, and down he goes into the arms of Lonnie Martz, who has picked up his 7th sack of the season.
I think you have to give this to the defensive secondary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The protection is about as good as it's going to get. You get some leakage right there by Upshaw, but you can see he's looking. He's got time to let that bad boy go. A good job of coverage down the field. Charles Demery locked up on Tony Martin at the last minute. I think that's where Stan wanted to go with the football.
What a year for Lonnie Martz.
And I tell you, what a stand for Tampa Bay defensively.
Now to punt it away, Darren Bennett, the native Australian. Great hang time. And calling for the fair catch, losing the ball is Marshall, and it's loose. Wild scramble for the football.
45.
Marshall waved for a fair catch. Never got a handle. And it's San Diego football.
Tom, we talked about in the Pitts points how special teams being solid was going to be key. I saw this ball tail back toward the punter at the last minute. And that always means trouble when you're a punt returner. I didn't feel like Marshall had his body underneath the ball. Glenn Young came up with the recovery. You can see right there, that ball starts to go back toward the punter. You're in trouble when you're standing flat-footed on a punt that high and it's starting to go back to the punter. Darren Bennett, he's fired up.
What a delightful guy he is. We had a chance to talk to the native of Australia a couple of days ago. An All-Pro last season. It looks to be again this year. Russell, as the Chargers are in business, sniffing the end zone. Touchdown.
It all starts with the fumble on the special teams. We talked about that. This is one of those games where you have to be solid in that area. Hey, it can happen to anyone. It's happened to me. That ball gets up real high. And Marvin Marshall just really coming on the roster. They just activated him last week. And that's Marciano, the special teams coach. That's just one of those things. You can't really coach that. You know, you draft guys, you hope they have enough athletic ability to catch the ball in those situations. But catching punts is a tough deal.
Harney tacks on the extra point. The turnover bites Tony Dungy and the Buccaneers. San Diego leading in the first 14-0.
Out with a left hamstring pull. And you know, when you get that pull way down there, that low to your knee, that's down by the attachment. That's problems. You want it high. You never want it, but if you're going to get it, you want it higher up. But you get it down low, now you're in with the knee ligaments and all that kind of stuff. And he'd been out 5 games earlier with a hamstring problem. So it's kind of back to the old news for him.
Tampa Bay getting the football, trailing 14-0, 4:10 to go here in the opening quarter. And Marshall, who fumbled a moment ago on the punt return, brings it out to the 35-yard line, tripped up by Terrell Fletcher.
Let's go back to the touchdown a second ago. Now they're going to run the cutback play, and what they're going to do is get everybody going this direction and then hopefully cut it back. They do that because Chidi Yohana, 272, chases the play too far downfield and misses the tackle. But right here, it's just all Leonard Russell. I mean, you talk about a guy being a truck. Melvin Johnson right there has got a pretty good shot on him at about the 4-yard line and can't bring him down.
Dilfer hands it off to Eric Red, and he has not had any room to run early on. And already for Red is his 4th carry, and he might be into positive yardage for the first time in the game. Junior Seau in on the tackle. Well, the Buccaneers went down the field. Dilfer hitting on 6 of 7 on the opening drive. It stalled down at the San Diego 15-yard line. And then special teams have hurt him twice today.
Yeah, and you can see the total yards right there. But the problem is right now, you may be starting to get out of your game plan. 14-0. Tampa Bay can't rely so much on the run. They've got to go back and put it in the air, maybe more than they'd like to.
Dilfer to throw. And he connects with Thomas to midfield. Tackled into San Diego territory at the 49-yard line.
Very nicely done. And Seau finds his way through the mess this time. Look at that strength. Just a rip move there on Paul Gruber, who's an experienced veteran tackle. I tell you, I asked Dave Adolph if there's anybody he's ever coached like Junior Seau. Adolph being the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. He said, I haven't seen anything like him yet. Tony Dungy said, I haven't seen anybody like him who makes plays quite like that. He's seen guys that do a lot and disrupt, but never the ones that are as effective as he is.
Alvin Harper into the game for the first time. Dilfer, great protection, and finds Harper, who is pushed out of bounds at the 23-yard line by Darian Gordon. A 27-yard pickup.
Great protection on the play, and that's the only reason he finds it. Now here's Harper. He's going to drag all the way across the field. Watch how long Trent Dilfer holds the ball. Look, they got 2 tight ends in the game. That helps. Gobea, he's right in perfect position. But when you let a quarterback hold that long, you're going to get beat in the secondary.
Dilfer checks off again at the line of scrimmage on the 1st and 10. Little delay to Rhett, and he's down to the 21-yard line. Right now, let's step aside for a McDonald's game break and return to James Brown at our Fox Television Center.
And on the tackle, Hurts and Gobea. Gain of 2.
Now we'll check back in with JB in just a little while.
Once again, Tom, Tampa Bay is back down the field. Dilfer has found a way to move the chains and keep this team rolling, just like he did last week.
2nd and 8. Harris in motion, coming after Dilfer, gets it away and threw it behind the intended receiver, Rob Thomas. It'll bring up 3rd and 8.
Rob Thomas came in the Minnesota game down there in Tampa Bay. That was a game that they had the little controversy with. Alvin Harper had to take him out. He dropped a couple balls, had the problem with his hand. He and Tony Dungy got into it on the sideline. Thomas goes in and catches 2 touchdown balls. Thomas, the guy with Seattle early in his career, with Kansas City as well, was in Kansas City when Tony Dungy was coaching the defensive backs there.
5 defensive backs check in the game. 4 receivers set for the Buccaneers. And Dilfer will complete the pass, but well shy of the 1st down. Courtney Hawkins stopped at the 16. And again, here comes the field goal unit as the drive has stalled. Husted missed on a 33-yard attempt on the opening Tampa Bay drive.
Husted has to put this one through for if nothing more a momentum standpoint, because missing that last field goal puts your team so down psychologically. You as an offense, you move up the field, and then your kicker misses, so you come away with nothing. The whole drive was worth nothing.
33-yard attempt again. And this one just does sneak inside the right upright. So the Buccaneers are on the board, and Husted is able to convert for Tony Dungy's team. 14-3 San Diego and him. And it's 14-3 Chargers. And special teams already have hurt the Buccaneers. They missed a 33-yard field goal try on their opening series. Then a fumbled punt by Marvin Marshall led to the 2nd Charger touchdown. This one sails 8 yards deep into the end zone, and Coleman will take a knee. A penalty flag is down on the far side of the field, and it came from the Tampa starting point, which leads one to believe that the Buccaneers started a bit early.
Yeah, a little offside action there. Looking at Kenneth Gant, number 29.
And Red Cashin indeed does signal offsides for the Buccaneers, and they'll move them back, and we'll kick it again.
Kenneth Gant there, number 29. He came over from Dallas, famous for his shark dance that he used to do a lot.
Number 39 on the kickers. 5 yards. We'll re-kick.
Well, the degree-hot rookies from Week 11, Eddie George of the Houston Oilers, St. Louis wide receiver Eddie Kennison, and Lawrence Phillips for their performances last Sunday. Each week degree will honor the league's hottest rookies, and Eddie George and his alumni, the Ohio State Buckeyes, celebrating their trip to the Rose Bowl with a victory yesterday.
And that's going to be a good one, too.
Taking on Arizona State.
I got to go with the Sun Devils.
I'll be big in your wallet.
Yeah, I'll be big back in Ohio now.
Yeah. We're going to Cincinnati today, so you might not want to show up next week.
Well, I know you'll show up. You've been talking about it all year. I can't wait to see what's back there. Must be something awful good.
So the Buccaneers are going to kick it again. One of the great towns in America. Well, I figured you would know that.
Well, I'm sure you'll show it to me, too.
Absolutely. So Husted spins it away, and this will be returnable for Coleman from the 7-yard line. Crossing the 25, and he had one man to beat, was tripped up and falls at the 33, perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle for Jerry Ellison. And right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at our Fox Television Center.
Tom Boomer Esiason still feeling his oats from last week. Take a look at this play. Pumps, goes to Rob Moore. first of 2 touchdowns for the Cardinals. They're on top by 14. Hey, Ron, Tom is excited to get back to Cincinnati and see his dad.
That's right.
And Mom.
And Mom.
Maybe don't forget about Mom.
That's right. Boy, Boomer Esiason. He's just excited, period.
Playing like he did with his Cincinnati days. First down, and Humphreys to throw in trouble. Ahana 2 out, and now the ball is loose. And it looks like San Diego was able to cover it up. Ahana was there, along with the rookie Reagan Upshaw. And indeed, San Diego does recover and will maintain possession.
They are giving Stan Humphreys different looks. They look like a cover 2 back here, but it's actually a man-to-man situation. You can see it right there. And Stan Humphreys has no place to go with the ball. Nice jam up top that time by the corner. And the ball's on the ground. Second time in a row, Stan has had to sit back there and pull it down.
Well, a very exciting opening quarter from San Diego. The Chargers at home leading Tampa Bay 14-3. Gorgeous Sunday afternoon and a very exciting first quarter. A couple of key mistakes for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, but I think they've done what they did last week, move the ball up the field. Trent Dilfer once again moving the third down, making the chains go. That's important.
2nd and 23 after the fumble by Humphreys, and a big gain by Terrell Fletcher. Got some of the yardage back out to the 27, but it'll bring up 3rd down and a little better than 12 yards. And there is Dwayne Harper. We talked about him re-injuring a hamstring, which has sidelined him for 5 games this season, and he will not return today. So Darian Gordon, the former starter who missed all of last season with shoulder troubles, will take over. 3rd down and 13. And the catch is made by Fletcher, but he is surrounded by Hardy Nickerson along with Charles Dimry, and they will come up shy of the first down. So another big stand for the Buccaneer defense.
Yeah, obviously they're giving him a look they haven't seen in a while. Humphreys thinks he's throwing into one thing, but he's throwing into something else, and it's turned around and resulted in giving up the football.
Well, the Chargers have the big opening strike, the 3rd play of the game, 63-yard touchdown to Charlie Jones for the Buccaneers. And all of a sudden have stepped up these last 2 possessions. Bennett to punt it away, and Marvin Marshall, who cost the Buccaneers 7 points with a drop turnover.
Oh, he got up nasty.
And that will bounce out of bounds at the 28-yard line, and that's where Dilfer and company will put it in play when we come back. Just a 37-yard punt by Bennett. Come to San Diego, you expect some football crazy fans. They love their Chargers.
I would say so.
What do you think of that look?
I got a hat like that at home, quiet as it's kept.
First down, Buccaneers. 13:35 to play here in the half. San Diego leading 14-3. They swing it out of the backfield to Eric Rett, and he gets to the 30, a gain of 2. Dilfer off to a very good start here today.
You know, and I think the thing that's helped Dilfer, you look at the sacks that's been given up by this team on offense. They have gone down big time from what they were last year after 10 games. They are protecting the quarterback. Only 17 sacks at this point in the season. Last year they were in the 30s for sacks.
Well, they call it a gain of 3 on the pass to Rett, so 2nd and 7. And they hand it to Rett. And there is Junior Seau to drop him for perhaps a yard loss in the backfield. Seau is everywhere. The first ever selection by Bobby Beathard with San Diego when he took over here.
Now, here's a case where he just gets a great read, because if it's play action, he's done. But he gets a great read and then makes the play in the backfield. You know, it used to be linebackers in the middle were tough guys. They wore neck rolls and they stuffed plays, and that's all they did. But now the game has changed. Linebackers inside are tough, but they can also run like wide receivers and defensive backs, and Seau shows it there.
3rd down and 8. Dilfer, good protection, throws to the near side and converts on the first down pass to the rookie Carl Williams out to the 46-yard line.
A nice comeback route by Williams. Protection again holds up. And if you don't believe Dilfer has his confidence now, then you have to, because he couldn't make throws like this last year. I mean, to sit back there with things in your face and makes the play. I mean, he's got plenty of room. Carl Williams could take the ball up the field if he wanted to a yard or two.
Ray Lee Johnson delivering the hit to Dilfer just as he got it off.
And they went right after the side that Dwayne Harper went out. That's Darian Gordon over there.
Brett, still not much running room, stays on his feet and maybe picks up a couple of yards to the 48-yard line. Stopped there by Perella and Reuben Davis.
Isn't it surprising, Tom, how Tony Dungy last night compared Trent Dilfer to Terry Bradshaw? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people raise their eyelids on that one, but he said they're both guys that come from a very small school, didn't see a lot of things that they're going to see in the pro level. Big guys, high draft picks, and it's taken them a while to get, through that overwhelming NFL stuff and play football.
Gain of 2 by Red, 2nd and 8. Dilfer just does get it off, and that is an incomplete pass. And again, Ray Lee Johnson, 4th-year lineman out of Arkansas.
Get on the way.
Right there, Ray Lee Johnson, 99. Now he's working on the rookie. That's Jason Odom. He's stepping in and playing that position now. And really, he locks him up nice, but Johnson just beats him on the outside. He got that hip going, and he got the rip move going, and Odom just couldn't hold him.
Well, Johnson did not have a sack in the first 7 weeks of the season. Had single sacks in games 8 and 9, none last week. Here's a 3rd and 8. And the play is blown dead before it ever gets started. Penalty flags littering the field. They may have taken too much time.
Delay for the offense. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
Boy, what a difference. You go from 3rd and 8 now to 3rd and 13.
We talked about Jason Odom at right tackle. He's stepping in for Riesenberg.
So here is a 3rd and 13. They need to get to the 44-yard line for a 1st down. And they're coming after Dilfer. Steps out of trouble. Flags down all over the place. Williams open down the field. And did he make the catch? Yes, he did. And it's picked off by Gordon, who stepped in front of it. But penalty flags are down. Well, it was a jump ball down there by Williams and Gordon, and Darian able to go get it, but it looks like it's against San Diego, offside.
It looked like to me someone was lined up, maybe Reuben Davis, in the neutral zone. Looked as though someone was lined up offside. That may not be the call right there. It looks like I could see from here, Tom, his head was in the neutral zone.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Number 98 on the defense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Nice play there by Gordon on the underthrown ball. But I thought that Davis was a little tight.
And you see the Chargers, they have just killed them. It's amazing they have won both of those games despite 26 penalties in victories over Indianapolis and Detroit. So it went from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 13. Now 3rd and 8, and again they blitz Dilfer. And the play is blown dead again. Boy, this has turned into a comedy of errors on this 3rd down. They can't make up their mind whether they want to go 8, go 13.
This is before the snap. False start. Number 70 on the offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
That's Jason Odom. I got to believe he's a bit nervous lined up at that tackle position. Back again, working on Ray Lee, 99. See, he just starts to hip move, but just a little bit. His shoulders came back. That's what happened once the guy runs around the outside on you. You know you got to bail out underneath. I wouldn't be surprised if Ray Lee now, knowing he's got the fear of the outside in his heart, comes underneath inside.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have another penalty to go to 3rd and 8. It's been 3rd and 8, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 8, now 3rd and 13 again. And again, they blitz Dilfer. And he drops it off to Jerry Ellison. Has some blockers in front. Crosses midfield. Still on his feet. 1st down to the San Diego 37-yard line. A big pickup on a 3rd down, 20 yards on the reception to Ellison.
Great call that time. Mike Shula, they know the pressure's coming. They know the heat's coming. There's Sapp. He comes on the delayed blitz. And what do? They do the dump out for the screen. And actually, what has to happen here is that they've got to get blocked. I want you to watch these group of linemen right here. 1, 2. Those 2 blocks make the difference. And, you know, Rhett actually blocked before he went out. That was the key. He gave Dilfer a little bit more time to throw the ball and got into the route itself. Excellent call by Mike Shula.
Eric Rhett takes a handoff, and he has not had much success running the football early on, coming off a season-high 95-yard rushing day on 33 carries in the victory over Oakland last week. Sapp and Davis there to stop him.
I talked to Eric Rhett before the game, and he said, finally, I feel like I'm coming out of training camp. You know, he was out with that contract dispute that got real ugly down there. He missed, you know, the whole training camp and just came back in the middle of the season. In fact, Green Bay, I believe, was his first game back. He said to me, training camp's now over. I can now run. But he does say he's feeling better, and he feels like he's into the flow now. And offensively, think about what that gives him. If you're Tony Dungy, that gives you Mike Allstott, a rookie who's been a surprise, and now you've got Eric Rhett, a run game guy. You got a guy that can catch it, and Allstott, a guy that can run it in Rhett.
Sapp just barely got his helmet on in time. He thought there was going to be a timeout on the field. 2nd down and 8. Dilfer finds the open receiver, Courtney Hawkins. Another Tampa Bay first down to the San Diego 23.
See, when you do a lot of things with your linebackers, blitz them like they do Sapp, you're going to have holes in the back part of the defensive secondary, and that's what Tampa Bay is doing. They're taking and picking on those holes. They're banking, San Diego's banking on the fact that they can get to you before the quarterback will let it go. But if your offensive line does a good job of recognizing what's coming and where it's coming from, you can give your quarterback time, and that's what they're doing. Finding Sapp, though, is the key, because he's going to tell you what's going to happen with the rest of the defense.
Spotted at the 24, 1st and 10. Dilfer across the middle, and it's overthrown. Looked like maybe a mix-up, along with Courtney Hawkins, who was the intended receiver. Hawkins needs one more reception to move into 8th place on the all-time Tampa Bay Buccaneer receiving list.
Yeah, Courtney Hawkins coming into the game, not 100%. He's going to come down a little in route, working on Shaw. But his hamstring is not really 100%, and that's a bad ball, too, by Trent Dilfer. I mean, he had his man. He made a nice break and had him. Thought it was interesting what Dilfer said about Alvin Harper. He said, hey, don't underestimate him. Don't count him out just yet. He's had a lot of problems, but he can still make some plays for us.
10th play of the drive. Ellison, nothing but green in front of him, and he's down to the 11-yard line. Another San Diego collapse defensively on a big play, and it's a 13-yard gain by Ellison Ross on the tackle.
There were no defenders, no linebackers in a position. There's the one linebacker. That's Sapp. That's it. Look at all this room here. Everybody thinks it's pass. Man-to-man here, man-to-man there, and now your safeties are in a sweat. They got to come down the pipe and make the tackle. Another great call by Mike Shula.
First down at the 11-yard line. Allstott broke a couple of tackles and then is able to slither his way inside the 5 down to the 4. Stop there by Rodney Harrison. Allstott and Harrison played against one another growing up in high school back outside of Chicago.
And Harrison said, he got the best of me that time in high school. I'm going to get him back for it. But Allstott does all of that on his own. Just a strong guy. Averaged 130 yards per game at Purdue. Not only runs the ball well, but he catches extremely well. And that's what you need in today's type of West Coast style offenses. Your fullback has to be a hybrid.
2nd and 3 from the 4. Allstott dodges a couple of tacklers and is into the end zone. Touchdown Tampa Bay, and they're right back in the game. Now, Tony Dungy told us, and Ron brought it up earlier, he believes Allstott will be the best fullback in the NFL by this time next year. And there's a list of terrific candidate centers, and of course Daryl Johnston of Dallas.
Ian Beckles, 62, gets blown back here by Reuben Davis, but good awareness by Allstott. The penetration inside. Look at all those blue shirts that came inside to the pile. Most fullbacks don't have that kind of peripheral vision to see what's going on the outside. They're just straight-ahead guys. And look at these guys. They're straight-ahead guys, too.
And the extra point is good off the foot of Michael Husted. So Allstott, the former Boilermaker, able to get to the end zone, and Tampa Bay now trails 14-10, 7:15 to go until the half.
Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator for San Diego. He's got to pull out his own X-Files right now and find out what's going on with Trent Dilfer in that offense and why they're running up the field on it.
Husted boots it away. Andre Coleman will start from his own 5. Coleman, the always dangerous return man, out across the 25 to the 26. Stopped right there by Tyrone Leggett. We have a ball game. 7:06 here in the second quarter. 14-10 Chargers. NFL for 18 years. How many times, though, has his team selected with their first-round draft pick? Beathard, of course, for many years known to trade away the first-round pick in a trade to get something for today rather than tomorrow. You see Beathard there, the general manager of these Chargers, and it's first down. The carry is to Leonard Russell, and he's out across the 25 to the 28-yard line.
Leonard Russell comes into this game, comes to this team this year, really is not the featured guy. The featured guy was supposed to be someone named Aaron Hayden.
162 yards. That a touchdown to Frank Sanders. 21-3 Cardinals over the Giants. Tom and Ron.
Well, Boomer Esiason, he is dialed in right now.
Boy, he sure is. Getting some fuel off that last game against Washington.
Boomer throwing for 522 yards in that one. 3rd down and 7. They come after Humphries and through the hands of the intended receiver, Tony Martin.
Boy, they put a shot on Stan Humphries, and they did a little zone drop right there, a little zone blitz. 78. Right there. He's going to come out, and they brought the corner. That's Mayhew. He let Stan off easy. Tony Martin kind of going back to those old bad days when he dropped the big balls, the big passes. Right there. Clearly an easy catch. Just loses concentration.
Well, that throw by Humphries right on the money. It looked as though Martin wasn't expecting the pass. So the Buccaneers are going to get the ball back. 6:25 to play until halftime. And it's 14-10 San Diego. Very good punt this time by Bennett. And Marshall from his own 19 looking for room, and there's not much there. Brings it out to the 27-yard line. 53-yard punt. And the tackle made by Eric Castle downfield. They'll take a timeout. A 4-point lead for the Chargers. Meadowlands to take on the New York Giants. Giants trailing Arizona 21-3. Dilfer comes out throwing, and there's his favorite target all year long. Allstott breaks a couple of tackles and still going to the 43-yard line. He just ran over Darian Gordon.
Mike Allstott told me that he liked to watch films of John Riggins in college. That was his idol. He used to run like John Riggins. And I tell you what, he's doing it here. I mean, just a quick dump off, and then you let this guy run, and he breaks tackles. There's 1 tackle. There's 2. Lewis Bush not doing a good job of wrapping up. When your cornerbacks are having to make tackles 15 yards down the field, you've got a problem up front.
Boy, Allstott, he is not going to go to the Pro Bowl. It seems as though teams without a good record don't have many guys go, as Rhett is able to dive ahead, crossing the 45 to the 47. But the only fullback in the NFC that's going to have gaudier statistics than Mike Allstott is Larry Centers, and those are strictly receiving, number of receptions. But Allstott might be the best fullback, at least this season, in the NFC to this point in the season.
And it's funny, you got guys.
Makes a catch out of the backfield. Is wrapped up this time by Kurt Gouveia, and may have lost a yard. So to bring up 3rd down for the Buccaneers. On a loss of 2, it'll bring up 3rd and 7, and look at the time of possession for the Buccaneers.
That's outstanding. That's what you want to do, coming into a hostile environment, away from home, all that kind of stuff. Hold the ball, keep their defense on the field.
3rd down and 7. 4 receivers set for Tampa Bay. Dilfer, great protection, open receiver. Courtney Hawkins, 1st down to the San Diego 39. He took a lick on the far side of the field from Kevin Ross.
Courtney Hawkins ended up matched up on Willie Clark. They're going to drag across the field. Check out Junior Seau. He comes on the delayed blitz. Not sure if he's going to come or not. Dilfer somehow throws right through him. I mean, right between his hands. Well, that was awful close to being a face mask. You get any parts of that helmet, Terrence Shaw, he comes with a George Atkinson-like hit. He starts his collar for him.
Atkinson used to do that play. 1st down give is to Allstott. Wrapped up, then broke the tackle, still on his feet. And he tumbles forward to the 35-yard line, a gain of close to 4.
If you can get 4 yards of crack, you can be successful. Anything over 3.5. And this is a situation where Seau takes himself out of the play. He's going to fill up in here. And Allstott, we talked about his awareness, can get outside.
I tell you, the more you watch some of the youngsters on this Tampa Bay team, and particularly the way that Dilfer is now beginning to blossom. He might have a bad game next week, might have one today, but you can see signs that things are getting better and better. Eric Rett, and he is close to 1st down yardage inside the 30, needed to get to the 29-yard line. It will depend on the spot as to whether or not he was able to get it. It's very close, tripped up by Reuben Davis.
Very nice block by Mayberry, the center, number 61. He had to turn John Perrell at 97 inside to give Redd enough room.
Well, they're going to bring out the sticks for a measurement to determine whether or not Rhett did get the 1st down yardage. We said it's very close, and it's tough to tell from right here. He might be a few inches short. And it's a little longer than a few inches. Probably about 2 feet.
And, you know, you brought it up a few seconds ago, Tom. This is where they have struggled a bit down inside the red area, approaching the red area in the 3rd down situations. This is where they have to convert. They're 5 of 7 on 3rd downs today. That's exactly what they had to do and where they had to be.
And Dilfer will just lean forward and appears to have the 1st down. You know, Ronnie talked about Trent Dilfer and improving on 3rd down conversions. Last week, the Buccaneers were 10 of 16 converting on 3rd down opportunities, and that was the best percentage a Buccaneer team has had in 6 years.
You know, I think a lot of credit to that goes to Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator. He came here this year, and the first thing he did was maybe not take things out of the playbook, but simplify it and give it a shot where your quarterback doesn't have so many things to learn. What do they say? Less is more? Well, that's the case for Trent Dilfer. Less has definitely been more.
And they'll stretch. Whoa, they did not get a favorable spot, and it is less than an inch. And Tampa Bay, you figure, is definitely
why not? You know, you're coming into this game 2-8. What did you have to lose? I think you got to line up and go for it. There's Mike Shula right there, the offensive coordinator.
I think you've heard of his dad.
It's funny. We had a long talk the other night, and I asked him how his dad was doing. He said, "Dad's doing fine. He's doing some fishing, and he goes to some Bucks games and some Dolphin games now, and he's really enjoying life."
4th down, 14-10. San Diego leading Tampa Bay. Clock will wind down to the 2-minute warning before this 4th and inches. And you see what the Buccaneers have done on 4th down conversions this year, right at 33%. So Dilfer will visit the sideline. We'll come back for the 4th down play. Tampa Bay on the move, trying to take the lead before halftime. Down and inches with the Buccaneers trailing by 4 at the 2-minute warning.
I think this is the most important play of the game so far for both teams. For Tampa Bay, because they've got to prove that they can get the ball in the end zone here in the red area. And for San Diego, they have not stopped Tampa Bay today. They have gone up and down the field on them.
Play call here might be interesting. You can lull the defense into thinking we're definitely going to run, maybe a quarterback sneak, and then you surprise them with a throw. 2 backs, offset, Allstott and Rhett. Dilfer keeps it himself. I don't know.
If he made any progress at all, they're going to have to give it to him, but it is going to be close. I mean, any at all. It was such a short distance. And it depends on the mark. It depends on the mark, and the way that Dilfer is arguing right there, he probably didn't get a favorable mark.
Well, this is going to be a big placement on the spot of the ball here, and it looks like, oh, he is very, very close. It looks like from here that he has it. But again, they will bring out the chains for measurement.
I thought Dilfer was too high. If you're going to quarterback sneak, it means a sneak. Get low and sneak underneath in there.
Well, they still have to extend the chain, and let's see.
Oh, he missed it.
It's very close. He did not get it. Wow.
Like I said, I thought Trent was a little high on the quarterback sneak. He's got to get himself low. Watch how high. See, right there, once you get hit and once the surges stop, and he didn't try to reach the ball over. He has the ball tucked trying to reach for first down. I don't understand that.
Boy, that's a huge stop.
That's where he's got to get. He's just got to get right beyond there. Now just pick the ball up and reach it over. See the ball, if he reaches this ball out, it's going to be here before anybody hits him. And he's too high once again. Sneak, get low and sneak underneath him.
Well, the Chargers have 1:55 left to... Humphreys is incomplete, had an eye on Tony Martin, but covered well by Charles Dimry.
That was huge for Tampa Bay. Going in at halftime, you want to give yourself an extra punch, an extra little positive to feel good about yourself going in. Very tight game, Tom. You know, that everything is how they wanted it. Now you put the pressure on the defense not to give up that crucial score right before the half.
San Diego has all 3 of its timeouts, and here comes a blitz. They're coming after Humphreys. Picked up well, and a dangerous throw. Again, Tony Martin, the intended receiver, and blanket-like coverage by the rookie Donnie Abraham. Well, we asked you a short while ago our Aflac trivia question about Bobby Beathard and how many times has his team in his 18 years as a general manager used their first-round draft pick, and the answer is a total of 5 times. But how about the players? Art Monk, Darrell Green, Junior Seau, Stanley Richard, and Darian Gordon. That's some Fat Cat company. 3rd down, and Humphreys steps out of trouble, drops it off to the tight end, Deans May, but well shy of the first down, and the clock under 1:40. Tampa Bay's going to get back, now spending a timeout with 1:37. That is the first timeout used here in the half by the Buccaneers, and they're going to get the ball back.
Listen to this. You heard those boos come out in home in San Diego.
Miami.
They'll rebound, they'll bounce back. And now that's 2 in November, back-to-back. Not good.
34-yard line, Dilfer. A quick throw and catch made by Hawkins, and gets some pretty nice yardage after the catch. And he is to the 45-yard line. And with that reception, Hawkins does indeed move into 8th place on the Buccaneers' all-time receiving list, passing Bruce Hill. And the clock ticking, now down to 1:07. They hurry up to the line of scrimmage. And the catch, no, not made. Incomplete at midfield. The intended receiver, Thomas, who is down on the field. He had to leave the game with a shoulder sprain against Oakland on the opening series last week, and looks to have hurt it again.
It looks as though he hurt that shoulder again. That ball came down kind of low. Seau came inside and was picked up very nicely. Looked like Allstott picked him up. But the last thing you want to do, you get those shoulder sprains and those stingers. He lands right on the shoulder. Harper's in for him now.
Alvin Harper has 1 reception, the bottom of your screen. Hawkins and Williams up top. Good protection. Dilfer, pump fake. Rolls out of trouble, has a wide open receiver down the field. And the catch is made at the 23 by Hawkins, and he is tackled at the 21. Clock ticking, and now the Buccaneers will spend a timeout, stopping the clock with 51 seconds left after a 34-yard completion. Dilfer to Hawkins. Tampa Bay knocking on the door once again. We'll be right back.
Offense. I want you to watch the two people inside. Nobody's getting to the quarterback inside. That's perfect protection. He's got time to pull the ball down and then let it fly. And there's Hawkins right there. He's going to come out and up and then go back up the field. And he loses the defensive back. See, it looks like Clark looking back at the quarterback. That's not what you want to do when a quarterback starts to scramble. Stay on your man.
1st and 10 at the 21. Tampa Bay, 1 timeout remaining here in the first half. They're showing blitz, and here they come. Dilfer is able to get it off, and it's incomplete. And Dilfer took a hit just as he delivered the football.
If you pick up the blitz against San Diego, you can do yourself a favor because they seem to get discouraged. Look at that. Very nice. Jerry Ellison picks up Harrison on the plate. If you can do that to them, they get discouraged. They don't want to come as much, especially Junior Seau. That's how he makes his living, getting in the backfield and disrupting people.
San Diego has dominated the second quarter. Tampa Bay has an out quick hitter, and it's caught at the 18-yard line by Carl Williams. And the clock rolling now under 40 seconds. Huge play for the Buccaneers. It is 3rd down and 7, and the clock now under 30 seconds. And here comes the blitz after Dilfer. They pick it up, and it's batted into the air. Catch is made. What a blow, and Hawkins somehow hangs on close to first down yardage, but the clock is running. Under 15, now down to 11, and the officials now will stop the clock, more than likely to have to check for a measurement.
Boy, they bring Rodney Harrison again, and he gets picked up. The ball got batted in the air, and a great catch by Carl Williams.
And they're stopping the clock to bring out the sticks on a measurement.
You've got serious problems if you bring your linebackers and your safety on a blitz and don't get home. And they get a first down. Now they got to make a decision here.
Well, it is a first down, and they're going to start up the play clock.
Yeah,
and
he's going to run out.
Now going to come racing out and signal for a timeout.
It wasn't much of a decision. Either you run out and run a play in 10 seconds or you call timeout. See, look at it. Look at it right there. Harrison's messing around in here. He's going to come, and so is Seau. But watch, they both get him blocked. Ellison picks him up. When you can do this, and it's get tipped, John Perella hits it right there. He tips it with his hand. But that's way too much time. You're telling me you're bringing your safety and... Did it hit Seau's helmet? It looked like it hit off of Seau's helmet.
And then Harrison turned around and delivered a vicious shot on Hawkins.
Yeah, but Hawkins, excuse me, I said Williams. Hawkins does a nice job of holding on to the ball. Now Seau right here, watch his helmet. Now it looked like it hit his forearm and then off of the helmet.
Mm-hmm. Well, now with 10 seconds left, you're out of timeouts. Do you take one shot for the end zone? If you don't get it, then take the field goal?
I'll tell you what, you got time for more than one play if you take your shot in the end zone and you take it quick. It can't be something that takes a lot of time. It's got to be a quick play.
Well, they have Harper at the bottom of your screen, very tall receiver. And let's see if they have an eye on him. A little fade to the end zone.
Where the safeties are again. They may be bluffing.
Dilfer throws it up, looking for Harper in the corner, and it sails right through his fingertips.
Boy, there was some contact there. It looked like Harper pushed up. I thought that Harper had two hands on the ball. The blitz again. There's Harrison. They pick him up. Nicely done by Allstott. You tell me if he can't catch this ball.
Oh, boy.
He had more room in the end zone than he thought.
What a throw by Trent Dilfer. That should have been a touchdown. Clock stops with 4 seconds left. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt by Houston, who's hit on 1 of 2. And the kick is up, and it is good. So the Buccaneers get into field goal range after getting the ball back with less than 1:30 to play in the half. And despite the fact that Tampa Bay dominated the second quarter, the Buccaneers go to the locker room trailing San Diego here at Jack Murphy Stadium, 14-14. 13. This is the NFL.
Time of possession. We know that Trent Dilfer's done a good job of taking the ball down the field, but look what it's done to time of possession. That's one way to be successful, is to hold that ball and keep the defense on the football field.
And it's amazing. You see the 133 yards by San Diego. 63 of those came on the third play of the game, a touchdown pass to Charlie Jones from Humphreys. But what about Trent Dilfer? His progress the last 5-6 weeks, Ronnie, is just remarkable.
Well, he told us last night in the meeting, he said, I feel more comfortable now. I feel confident, a different kind of confidence that I felt last year. And it shows. He's taken the team. You see the way he stands back there in the midst of some of the drama and makes plays. Their only problem right now is been in the special teams area. They have not been able to make things happen. And then you got the missed field goal right here. That's a problem. Houston has to make that.
And that was from 33 yards away on the first Tampa Bay drive after the 7-0 San Diego lead. And then this.
And then Marvin Marshall standing under that punt. We knew it would give him some trouble, the way that ball was starting to float back. And that led to a San Diego touchdown, the turnover right in your own territory.
But then Tampa Bay able to right the ship, march down the field, couple of big third down conversions, and then the man we've talked about a great deal today, Mike Alstott.
Yeah, Alstott has been a force, and, you know, he's not a guy that you look at and say, okay, we've got a game plan for him, but when the game happens, he makes plays, and you wish you did game plan for him.
All right, second half. You go to the locker room. If you're Bobby Ross, what are you telling your team in the first half about what to do better in the second half?
Well, I think, first of all, the protection has been great for Tampa Bay. And they've been doing a good job of being disciplined and picking up the blitzes. San Diego's starting to get a little bit frustrated, I think. When you can't get Junior Seau to the quarterback, and then you bring your safety and can't get him either, then you've got some problems. San Diego's done a pretty good job of keeping the ball on the ground to Leonard Russell. They're going to have to put it in the air. This game is too tight for him.
Yeah, Russell just 6 attempts, but 43 yards rushing in the first half, a 7.2 average, and he scored a touchdown. Humphreys very effective as well, 5 of 9, 101 yards, but the difference is certainly that time of possession. It's amazing. All the numbers are in Tampa Bay's favor except for the only one that matters, and that's the scoreboard. 14-3 San Diego, and we're underway in the second half. Marshall from the 3 takes a kick from John Carney. And he's still on his feet. Breaks a tackle to the 30, 35, out to the 40-yard line. And he's wrestled down by Willie Clark. So a very good start for the Buccaneers.
You know, something else that's going on here that's not good for the Chargers, a lot of boos. Every time there's a miscue from the Chargers, you start to hear the fans get into it. And look at that. Dilfer coming into this game, he's a right-throwing guy. This team is a right-throwing, passing team. And you would expect San Diego now to look at this on their charts, on their stats, and say, okay, let's start rotating some zones. Maybe not send Junior Seau so often. Rotate the zones toward that right side of the field.
So 14-13, San Diego lead, and the play is blown dead right out of the chute. Perella may have started early. Question is, was he drawn offsides? And Red Cashin will let us know.
Before the snap, encroachment by the defense, 5 yards, still first down.
You know, and you don't see one thing on here, Tom Brennan, and you don't see the turnovers. This is the worst thing that's happened to him, a turnover on down. That is excellent football. That is about the best first half I think they may have had all year, maybe in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're coming off by far and away their best offensive performance in years in the win over Oakland last week. And this is Eric Rett, and he is slammed to the turf by the middle linebacker, Kurt Gobea.
Kurt Gobea came here from Philadelphia, and before he was at Philadelphia, he was at Washington, and Bobby Beathard wanted him here when he first became a free agent. They didn't get him. He went to Philadelphia, and Bobby Beathard was mad. He said, this is a guy that I've always liked. And think about how many changes that Junior Seau has had to go through. There he is right there. You see the way he's cocked in, standing back. They want him to be able to read a little bit more than Seau. Seau's more of a guy that's going to play up in front of the line.
2nd and 4. Hands it to Rhett, and he will be denied the first down by a couple of yards. San Diego defense swarming to the football. If you weren't with us earlier, Harper is finished for the game, re-aggravating a hamstring injury. Look at those numbers by Trent Dilfer. Only missed on 7 passes in the entire first half for 232 yards. So a big 3rd down right out of the chute to begin the 3rd quarter. A 3rd and 3. And in the shadows, Dilfer gives it to Ellison, and he is stopped right there by Sapp. What a play.
See, they thought they were running away from Junior Sapp, and they were, but sometimes that's the worst thing you can do. Now, there he is right there. They're going to check and go this way, but watch the way he chases it from the backside. Of course, with that hole, anybody could run through there. But I'm not so sure if that's the play to run. They haven't run too many times on 3rd down. Go ahead and air the ball out, pass it. You've had success. That was weak.
They had a grand total of 45 yards rushing in the entire first half.
To me, that's the first bad call of the game.
And the punt by Tommy Barnhart is first of the game, and how about that? Nestles it inside the 5 all the way to the 4-yard line, and a man down at John Lynch after a 50-yard punt. And a penalty flag is on the far side of the field, and this is against Tampa Bay. They're going to have to punt it again. That could turn out to be a big break for San Diego.
Yeah, that's a huge break for San Diego if it does turn out like that. I mean, that ball was placed about as good as you could put it.
Ineligible man downfield. Number 50 of the kickers. 5 yards, still 4th down.
Well, Red doesn't say 4th down with quite the enthusiasm as 1st down.
Jeff Gooch, he's a guy right in the middle of your screen. Now, these guys there, they can't go down here. They can go down, but in the middle of the screen, they can't go down. That's the offensive line right there. See, they're gone. He had 2 guys that were over the line, actually, before the ball was kicked.
Well, let's see if Darian Gordon is going to get a chance now to return the punt. You'd never like giving Gordon another chance. He's returned 3 punts for touchdowns in his career, 2 of them in '94, and an 81-yard touchdown this season against Kansas City. Barnhart boots it away. Very high, good hang time, and it will drop inside the 10 to 5 and into the end zone. So a differential field position-wise of 16 yards. They had dined down to the 4 on the last punt. Now they bring it out to the 20, 59-yard boot. 29-yard line. And we'll have to wait and see whether or not it is ruled indeed an interception. No official signal given by any of the officials on the field.
And we were just wondering where Tony Martin was. Just 1 catch so far. It was hard to tell, Tom, from here whether or not Melvin Johnson came up with it clean. Now there's Abraham, the rookie. They bounced it up in the air. Now here comes Melvin Johnson.
Oh, no. Clearly hit the ground. Here's Red Cashin. And they got the call right.
Look at Abraham right here. They bounce it. This ball clearly hits all turf. Right there, yeah. But smart move, though. Get up and run with it.
You never know.
If you're not, act like you are.
Well, that's the key to life in general, right?
And what about that coverage, though? Donnie Abraham, the rookie, going step for step with Martin. Martin only 1 catch. Been very quiet.
And you're talking about Martin coming off back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. In fact, the last 2 games combined, he has 14 receptions, 241 yards, and a couple of touchdowns.
And, you know, this offense is not a great running offense. They have to pass their way out of trouble. And a lot of times, if you're in a close game, passing you out of trouble can get you in trouble.
Very quiet crowd here at Jack Murphy Stadium. 2nd down and 10. And the give is to Leonard Russell, and he has a big hole out across the 25. Despite the fact that Russell did not get a lot of carries in the first half, he did average over 7 yards per try in the first 30 minutes.
And it's funny, you look at him, he leads the team in touchdowns. Actually, that's 4 now after the one he had early in the first half. But just not the same kind of punch. And Bobby Ross told us, he said, when we had Means here and Harmon here and Butchers here, we were a powerful running team with that H-back formation.
Humphries on a 3rd down. This time it is intercepted. Charles Dimry at the 42-yard line, and that ends a string for Trent Dilfer, or rather for Stan Humphries, of 152 consecutive passes without an interception. So Humphries finally does throw one.
Yeah, Humphries just let that one go bad. It was way inside. And, you know, that's to his left side. He's got that thing on his arm. And he told us he was a little bit uncomfortable trying to throw to that side. See, this ball's supposed to be out here, not in there. Dimry is not going to make the play if it's thrown right. And look at the wobble on that ball. That is not a good one coming out of the cannon at all.
And for Dimry, his first interception of the season. So a big turnover. Now the Buccaneers get the ball at the San Diego 41, and this time they'll
look at the tight end.
Open receiver Moore, and there's a battle for the ball, and Dave Moore just wrestled it away. And he's down to the 17-yard line.
See, forget the run. You had 45 yards in the first half. Use that to keep a team off balance. You want to move the chain past the football, Tampa Bay, and that's exactly what they did. Moore, he snuck out. There he is right there. He's going to come in and then sneak out. Ross, the safety, is going to stay with him pretty darn good. But let's watch the protection, because this is where it all starts. Nothing. Come on. You cannot get to anybody in this league like that.
And Moore just took it away in a battle for the football with Kevin Ross. Again, Dilfer to throw. Rolls left, in trouble, and takes a hit. The ball is loose. Mims delivered the hit, and it appears as though San Diego has it. Yes, sir. Reuben Davis covers up the football.
That's a situation where Trent has to make a decision to let that ball go or go off and run with it. Mims right there, he's chasing. And you see Trent wanted to let it go. He pulls it down. He's used to having a lot of time today. And he didn't have it that time.
Still 14-13, San Diego. By Lonnie Martz after a gain of 38 yards.
They came with the explode play. They're going to bootleg off the backside. And watch what happens to the white shirts. This is a serious play action when you see those guards come, but there's the tight end. That's the guy they're trying to drag.
39 yards.
You see John Lynch got caught up in it. Everybody is going to now try to turn around and find the zone that they were supposed to be in because of the play action.
San Diego's offense trying to jumpstart things after a very disappointing first half. Russell cuts it back inside and is able to get down to the 33-yard line. Tackled there by Melvin Johnson.
And see, now they come back with the same play, but they run the ball. They hand it off on the cutback play and make yardage from it.
Chargers had 106 yards of offense on their first 2 drives. The rest of the half, a grand total of 17 yards. Gain of 9, 2nd and 1, a hot of 2 after Humphries looking for the end zone, and he is overthrown. The intended receiver, Andre Coleman.
I think Stan was watching Trent on that last play and said, you know what? Watch this. He was trying to drag and get Walter Reeves, who was coming on the same play that Dims May caught for the long gain. He was covered up, so he just puts it up in the stands. Ooh. That is not how you want to start the second half, and I blame that really on the way they started the first series out by running that ball 3 times.
Play fake, and Humphries will dive for the first down.
Good for a Chargers first down.
See, Russell loses his footing right there. And Humphries, knowing he's got a bum shoulder, this is not what he wants to do.
First down carry is for Russell, and he lost the football. He had it stripped away, and it looked like Russell was able to cover it back up. Right at the bottom of the pile, number 73, Reagan Upshaw, and Russell does maintain possession for San Diego.
Russell has been under a lot of criticism last couple weeks for the way he was running and not running enough. And then, you know, last week, and that's San Diego's last 4 possessions there. That's what I meant. I said Tampa Bay. I meant San Diego's last 4 possessions. But anyway, going back to Russell, when Bobby Ross put down Aaron Hayden and didn't play Freddie Bradley, it kind of woke everybody up on the offense, including Leonard Russell.
Terrell Fletcher inside the 25. Looked like a mishandled exchange between Humphries and Fletcher.
Well, you know they've got a new center in there, and that's Greg Engel, number 60. He's in place of Courtney Hall. And I don't think there's any problem with the exchange from the center to the quarterback, but from there, from the quarterback to the running back, there's been a little bit of a problem.
3rd down and 6 for the Chargers. And there was a timeout down on the field. So the clock stops, 7:26 to play in the 3rd. Still a 1-point San Diego lead.
Tender grilled chicken, fresh lettuce and tomato, a bakery soft roll. McDonald's new grilled chicken deluxe is loaded with the stuff grown-ups love.
Entire Fox crew back at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. A 1-point San Diego lead. 7:26 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And a big play coming up. 3rd down and 7. Ball at the Tampa Bay 24-yard line. Mayhew showing blitz from the outside, and here he comes. Humphries able to get it away, but it may have been batted. His arm tip perhaps as he went to throw the football, and it's incomplete. On comes the field goal unit.
I don't know if they had a mix-up in the route, too, because Humphries saw the blitz. I don't know if Tony Martin saw it and was supposed to take the route up the field.
Well, Carney has been just about as accurate. In fact, he has been the most accurate all time in NFL history, having hit on just a little better than 80% of his field goals. Today will be his first try, and this one officially a 42-yard field goal attempt. And it's up, and what else? Split right down the middle. So San Diego takes advantage of the fumble by Dilfer. Mims caused it, Davis covered it up, and Carney cashes in. Budweiser, time of possession clearly in Tampa Bay's favor. But the bottom line is San Diego has found a way, despite all the numbers going against them, including Trent Dilfer's 255 yards passing, to own a 17-13 lead.
And look at that. Points off the turnovers. You know, it's one thing to get a turnover, but it's another thing to get something out of it.
Marvin Marshall waiting back on the John Carney kick. 7:17 to go as the sun begins to fade behind the stands into the western sky here in San Diego. And a good one. Interconference battle between the Bucs and the Chargers. And this one sails into the end zone. Marshall's going to bring it out. Crosses at 10, 15, 20, and all the way to the 23-yard line. Tackle there by Terrell Fletcher. Risky move, but he must have known what he was doing. Well, when animals attack 2, Monday on non-stop Fox. Animals Attack 2 back with startling new footage of the most terrifying animal attacks ever captured on tape. Don't miss the special encore presentation of When Animals Attack 2. Monday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox.
That Matador had no chance.
First man through is Allstott, and it didn't fool anybody. Maybe picked up the yard, and there was Junior Seau. He's beginning to make his presence known.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, San Diego has gotten very, Tampa Bay has gotten very conservative. I mean, once again, they opened up here with a nice inside handoff, and it gets stacked up. You know, in the first half, they were spreading people out. They were using some motion. They were making Sapp and the guys think. I think they need to get back to that. This is no reason to tighten up at all, just because you're having a close game.
2nd and 9. Dilfer will throw this time. Harris juggled it, then made the catch out to the 29-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down after just a 3-yard gain. Gouveia on the coverage and the tackle. Well, Dilfer threw for well over 230 yards in the opening half. He's 2 of 2 here in the second half for 27 yards.
Yeah, I just don't understand the philosophy right now. Maybe they think, okay, after Trent decide to pull that ball down and then got it raked from him, maybe they said, well, let's back off from that a bit. But still, you came into this game throwing it on 1st down. They talked about having to be 2nd and 5, and they've gotten away from that.
3rd and 5. Blitz coming after Dilfer. There's Sapp. Steps out of trouble and throws it away. Sapp just did miss delivering the sack on Dilfer, so 3 and out for the Buccaneers.
They knew he was coming. I thought I saw Trent Dilfer tuck the ball away right there. He does. You talk about putting something else in a quarterback's mind. You think he can throw the ball tucked away like that in his shoulder? He just wants to get rid of it.
Well, he did tell us that. We met with him last night. He had to fumble last week against the Raiders. Said when he feels the pressure, he has to find a way not to fumble the football. He's done that a great deal, including a hit by David Mims. Chris Mims. He'll stay in a fake punt, and Barnhart's going to get the 1st down. Crosses the 40 to the 50 and into San Diego territory at the 48. So surprise, surprise, out of the bag of tricks from Tony Dungy, a 23-yard gain.
Perfect call for it, too. Perfect time for it. You're going to get a rush up the field, and everybody else here is going to come inside. It's going to leave a nice little lane for Barnhart. And he checks to see if it's there. Right there, now he knows. And now he's got 2 guys out in front to block. And when right about here, if I was a coach, I'd want him to get on the ground. Watch his eyes. Now this is a nervous man. He does not run. But what is he looking behind him? Why did he look behind him?
He's just looking for those sticks, brother. Get me down. So a big play there for for Tampa Bay, and a throw and catch made by Alstott, and he's to the 35-yard line. While we have a moment, let's go back to our Fox Television Center, McDonald's Game Break, and our buddy James Brown.
All right, Tom, take a look at Dave Brown here. Play action, looking for Charles Wade, connects with him. Wade takes it to the 1. That leads to a Tyrone Wheatley score, 21-13, Arizona. They tell Ron he was looking behind because Barnhart was scared.
That's exactly right, JB.
That's right, JB.
I don't blame him.
You know, I mean, he doesn't get a chance to run in short yardage very often.
Now he's telling everybody about it.
Yeah.
1st down. And up the gut for a couple of yards is Derrick, who's had a quiet day. Sapp and Ross on the tackle, and we'll update the NFC East standings. Washington, that enormous win today on the road at Philadelphia after the Redskins had dropped their last 2 games. Dallas, of course, the Monday night encounter against Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. And Arizona with a win today, all of a sudden would have a shot perhaps at thinking postseason. Next Sunday, 2 of the top teams in the NFC, the 49ers and the Redskins from RFK. Dilfer, far side, bullet throw there, and the catch made by Thomas, very close to 1st down yardage. Boy, that was a rope.
That's great coverage, and people say, well, Trent Dilfer doesn't have that kind of arm, but he shows it there. And this is knowing where your marker is. Shaw, I mean, you can't come back. You see the way their feet were together there in sync? That's just a tough route. And Dilfer puts it where it's got to be, on the outside of the receiver, away from the cornerback.
Just a matter of where Thomas was pushed out of bounds. He tried to tiptoe along the sideline. He definitely got them both in, but did he step out in front of the stick?
I thought he caught it and then came back a little bit. But it looks like enough, yeah. Any part of that ball is touching that pole, you got a 1st down. So he's got possession. Yeah, and he comes down. I think that's good enough. I mean, it's close, but I think that's good enough. He makes possession, shows possession right there in front of the marker.
San Diego leading with 4:11 to play here in the third quarter. 17-13. Buccaneers have it first and 10 at the Charger 25.
Oh, they got him.
War in motion, penalty flags all over the place, and Eric Rett picks up a couple of hard-earned yards to the 23-yard line. We'll have to wait and see.
Looked like he got Sean Lee outside. Or Ray Lee. One of them Lees jumped. Ray Lee, Sean Lee
Johnson. Sean Lee.
You Lees jumped.
Offside. Number 94 on the defense. 5 yards, still first down.
It was none of the Lees boys. Yeah, it was the Mims boy. They made him jump.
Well, let's listen to the hard count by Dilfer. They did indeed get Chris Mims, fifth-year lineman out of Tennessee. So first and 5. Looked like early movement again, but no flags down. Dilfer just has to throw to the end zone, and it's intercepted by Rodney Harrison. What in the world happened there?
They had a mix-up in the route.
A huge turnover by Dilfer.
And that guy there, he's happy. He got a ball. Harrison interception. He gets the reception, too. There's Harrison right there. Dilfer is expecting this and then that out there. You can see Thomas doesn't go there. And he throws it exactly where he thinks Thomas is supposed to be. Thomas once again working on a good corner in Shaw. But they thought he was going to continue up the field. The worst part about it, in that kind of route, Dilfer is just throwing to a spot. He's not going to try to throw it out of the end. He's throwing to a spot exactly where Harrison was.
And that is the first interception thrown today by Dilfer. You see his numbers the first half compared with the second half. Very good in the second half until that throw.
Well, now that's 2 miscues there down in this end of the field for Trent. That's not a miscue at all for him.
Well, down there you got an ice cream cone, you got a ball, and all Harrison had to do was hand it to a fan. Junior Seau got fined $5,000 for the second time this year.
Oh yeah, that's a fine.
A big play last week, threw it into the stands.
That's a fine. I wonder if you get fined for handing it into the stands as opposed to throwing it into the stands.
I doubt it.
You don't get fined?
I don't think so. I think they say that when you throw it, you're endangering the fans in the seats.
Okay.
And the team could be liable.
So when Rodney Harrison gets a bill from the NFL for $5,000, he can send it to you in Arizona,
No.
right? Okay. I'll let him know that after the game.
Only if you'll give me a loan.
I have no money. That's impossible. I'll give you a handshake, good credit loan.
Nice seeing
good Fred loan. Harrison, funny talking to him. He's a guy that says, hey, when I hit back there, my whole intent is to knock the guy's head off. Does he ever think about the ball? He did that.
Second key turnover of the second half by Tampa Bay. San Diego gets it back. And Leonard Russell on the first down carry picks up 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. Warren Sapp there to stop it. But Tampa Bay has turned it over on 2 possessions here in the third quarter inside the 30-yard line of San Diego.
Yeah, but they're still in this game very much so because San Diego, with the exception of a big play there, hasn't been able to get the ball downfield.
Russell will try and cut it back the other way, stays on his feet, and crosses the 25 to the 27-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 3. Shaw, the rookie out of Cal, makes the tackle.
Russell probably had his best year in '93 with the Patriots. Went over 1,000 yards, had 7 touchdowns, and really that's the only time in his career he's gone over that mark. You know, he's more of a guy that you would like to have as your fullback. But in this offense, and knowing how Bobby Ross likes the power game, and with Aaron Hayden not stepping up, then he becomes the halfback guy.
Brian Roach in motion, and he makes the reception. Good enough for a first down to the 34-yard line.
They didn't use the tight ends much earlier in the game. And with Alfred Capuno out, I kind of think that they said, well, let's stay away from that area because we're not really sure about a lot of these guys. You know, Shannon Mitchell's a blocking type guy. Reeves, they just activated him. He's got some experience. Brian Roach and Dims May, they weren't too sure about these guys. But they are pass-catching tight ends.
And Roach certainly proved that in college at San Jose State. Just a rookie this season, a third-round draft pick by the Chargers. And Humphrey's looking for more. There's Tony Martin, who makes just his second catch of the day. And he's to midfield. A minute 50 to play in the third quarter. Penalty flag dropped generally in the area that warrants a hold. We'll find out.
That takes away a big play. A nice route by Martin. And a pretty good shot by Stan Humphries.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 72 on the offense. 10 yards, first down.
Did he say a 74? Maybe I heard him wrong. 72. Well, that's Harry Swain, the left tackle. And that's one of the new rules this year. He's going to, people go to the face right there. Boy, look at his stance. You tell me he's not waiting for a pass? Well, they're calling him for that left hand. He's got Martin right in his grill.
So it takes away a spot at midfield and a first down. It brings up first and 20. Try to get some of it back. Terrell Fletcher, a nice move. Still on his feet and is out to the 35-yard line. Stopped there by John Lynch.
Makes the block for him. Izzo, even though he's a...
Fletcher was when he came to this team, and like a Leonard Russell. And of course, you remember him. He had the great day in the Rose Bowl against my old alma mater.
Yes, he did.
We won't talk too much about that for Wisconsin.
Russell still on his feet. He'll come up shy of the first down to the 41-yard line. So it'll bring up third down and just under 5 yards for San Diego as we're under a minute here in the third quarter, and the Chargers leading 17-13.
And the backs have been involved a lot today. I don't think, like I said, they had the confidence to go to the tight ends with Capuno out. And we talked about how quiet Tony Martin had been on the perimeter, and Charlie Jones, except for that first big play, really hasn't done much.
Third down, and we'll call it 4. Chargers need to get to the 45-yard line. Humphries, good protection, steps up, throws, completion made to Coleman, steps out of bounds, first down.
That looked late.
Andre Coleman.
Well, Andre Coleman, he's a little guy. He's about 5'9", 165 pounds. And you already mentioned, Tom, Pro Bowl alternate last year, a great kick returner, had the great kick return in the Super Bowl against San Francisco. I don't know, maybe Coleman pulled up, thought he was safe, thought he had crossed the street, and didn't know the truck was coming. You know, sometimes you cross the street and they won't hit me. I'm okay.
Yeah.
They won't get me.
And then next thing you know, the pedal to the metal, brother. You better start dunking. That's the end of the third quarter. San Diego leading 17-13. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local Fox station. Hometown Chargers leading 17-13, so they'll turn around, head the other way, start right smack dab in the middle. And a first down handoff is to Leonard Russell, who loses a couple of yards. Looked like he lost his footing taking the handoff from Humphries.
Down to the 49-yard line.
Well, that's a nice stat to have for Tampa Bay. Now is the time to use it. They have to have that come true in this fourth quarter.
Well, a loss of 1, second down and 11. Terrell Fletcher crosses the 50 to the 49, so it'll bring up third down and a little less than 9. Big play for the San Diego offense. Another touchdown here, and now you're finding a way to put the Buccaneers really behind the 8 ball, although Trent Dilfer did bring his team back.
Yeah,
late in the game last week against Oakland.
Yeah, but one of the things we talked about in the Pitts points, they have to stay close. And you did the thing with the third down and moving it, but they got to stay close. Letting them get a touchdown here is not staying close, or even a field goal.
3 receivers check in the game, and they're coming after Humphries. He drops it off to Fletcher, and he's going to be stopped shy of the first down by a couple of yards. Good tackle by Nickerson.
Huge play. Bucs did a good job, and they're talking about maybe going for this. Hardy Nickerson, who's been a guy who's led this team in tackles every year, comes up with a big one here. And the crowd starts to boo about not going for the first down. I think Bobby Ross would be crazy to try to go for the first down in that situation. Now, the way this game has gone for him, they just got to play football.
Bennett will be sent onto the field. And it's headed near the end zone and will roll into the end zone. So Tampa Bay will get it back after a 43-yard punt from Bennett. 17-13, Chargers in front. Again, it would mark the 4th time in the last 5 years if they're able to charge fast despite an absolutely murderous schedule after this one today. The 2nd most difficult schedule the Chargers face in the NFL, second only to Green Bay. Well, they've got to try to find a way to keep Dilfer and the Buccaneers out of the end zone. First down, and the throw to the far side. Eric Rett tackled in the open field by Rodney Harrison. The AFC West numbers earlier today. Kansas City stays 2 behind Denver. And how about the Broncos? 1 loss all year long. They go to New England and hammer the Patriots. Detroit rallies late to beat Seattle. And the Raiders at home later tonight against Minnesota. We'll show you what that means in terms of the standings in the AFC West in just a moment. Look at the Denver Broncos, the talk of the NFL. 2nd down and 8. Dilfer in trouble, has a wide open man, just dumps it off to Allstott. And he cuts across the 30 to the 31 and should have enough for a first down.
Boy, that's a good job of knowing where that marker is and getting to it.
And there's a penalty flag that came in as you look at the West standings. That's brought up to date today. Denver just 1 loss on the season. Kansas City very much in the playoff race. A win today would put San Diego in the heart of the chase.
Hands to the face. Number 60 on the offense. 10 yards. Still 2nd down.
It's Jim Pine just coming back today after missing the last 3 games with a knee injury.
Jim Pine right there. Boy, they're calling that quick this year. Okay, there it is. Yeah, he's got it at the face. You can see that. You can see the way Perella's head twisted.
So it would have been a first down. Now they move them all the way back to their own 11. It's 2nd and 18. Dilfer, great protection. Throws to Thomas, who makes a reception. Very close to first down yardage. Needed to get to the 30-yard line. And we'll see where they mark it as Thomas limps. And now we'll turn around and come back to the huddle. They are short by a yard.
Thomas working on a zone here. And what you want, you hope that the linebackers don't get enough depth. You see Sapp trying to fight his way back, and a pretty good job of going up and getting the ball. He was well short. And with the time that Dilfer had, if he could see the time he had, he would have taken the route a few more yards deeper and then come back and gotten the first down.
This is a big play. 3rd and 1. And it looks like Rhett didn't make it. Sapp came leaping over the top and made the initial hit.
Sapp made the initial hit on the running back, and he made it on the referee. He made 2 hits on that play. Boy, watch his eyes, getting those quick reads. That is not what you want to see standing in the hole looking at you on a 3rd and short. And now he goes and runs over the referee.
And it is short of the first down. Sapp, just a spectacular player since coming to San Diego in 1990, a first-round pick, 5th overall selection that year. Boy, and if you're Tampa Bay, you got to be wondering what in the world is going on. You've been stopped 3 times with less than a yard, and a couple of those plays less than an inch. Gordon tries to bring him back. Mart's the first man down to make the tackle at the 25 after a 48-yard punt. 10:18 to go. Still San Diego 17, Tampa Bay 13. Wants to be able to watch the conclusion of this game. 10:18 to go. And it's a first down for the Chargers. A throw juggled, intercepted by Abraham. He's to the 20, inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Abraham's third interception of his career. It went in and out of the hands of the tight end, Shannon Mitchell.
You can't blame Bobby Ross for throwing. That's a relatively safe throw to a big-body guy, usually that hold on to the ball. Shannon Mitchell right there. Now, Shannon Mitchell is more of a blocking tight end. Of the three guys they got in there, he is not the pass-catching tight end. Brooks came with the hit, it looks like. Yeah, and he never really was able to bring that ball in. Brooks got a good drop off the hash.
Abraham, Johnny on the spot. First down at the San Diego 14-yard line. Chargers leading 17-13. Derrick lost his footing and fell down. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. And it looked like he may have had a little running room.
It looked like Rodney Harrison tripped him up with his foot. Allstott came around the corner, had the lead blocking. He put a nice block on Harrison, but somehow got tripped up. Coming around, Rhett, we talked about him being in better shape, wanting to run more. We still haven't seen the type of Eric Rhett that has run for Tampa Bay the last few years.
Second and 10, and Dilfer to throw. Great protection, and it's in and out of the hands of Rob Thomas.
Have you noticed one thing San Diego's doing on defense? They're blitzing a little bit less on the earlier downs. First part of the game, they started to come like crazy with Sayal and Gobea, Lewis Bush on the outside. They brought Rodney Harrison in there. They're doing less of that. They're sitting back, and they're trying to put more pressure on Trent Dilfer to make the right throw.
See inside the red zone today. Tampa Bay, who had been much better lately, but not all too hot today. 4 trips down there. They turned it over twice. Came away with 1 touchdown and 1 field goal. Third down and 10. Dilfer, short drop, has a receiver, and that is Rob Thomas down to the 10, but he has stopped shy of the first down with 9:12 and the clock still rolling to go in the game.
Yeah, you know, that's a pattern where you would like to have the receiver at least get to the first down marker and then make his break. You know, what's the use of throwing in front of the first down marker? But on the same side, I can understand Tony Dungy's thinking. He doesn't want to have an interception down here, a turnover. Don't have Trent hold the ball, get it knocked out. You at least got a solid chance for 3 points. And they're doing what we've talked about, keeping this game close like they did against Oakland, and then come back and try to win it late.
27-yard field goal attempt for Houston. Kick is up, and it is good. So the clock stops with 8:32 left to play in San Diego. The Chargers cling to a 1-point lead.
Play there by Tony Dungy. I know a lot of people are wondering, why don't you take a shot at the end zone? Remember, the last couple possessions down there, they had the fumble by Trent Dilfer, and then they had the interception. Tony Dungy's thinking, let me just get my points, keep it close, and then come back and win this thing. Good call.
A 1-point game after the field goal from Houston, who bangs it 5 yards deep in the end zone. Coleman thought about it, and then Fletcher turned to him and says, don't you dare. Right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown at our Fox Television Center.
All right, Tom, let's take a look at what Arizona is doing, capping a 13-play drive with that touchdown run by LaShawn Johnson. 28-13. Hey, Tom and Ron, welcome back to Joe Assetti as well.
Absolutely great to have our director, Joe Assetti, back in tip-top health condition. And we had a few laughs with Joe last night.
He's the man.
First down for the Chargers, starting from their own 20. Humphries barely got it away and took a lick from the rookie out of North Carolina, Marcus Jones.
You know, one thing that Humphries can't do with his shoulder, his left shoulder in that harness, he cannot ward off people. Watch Humphries here now. That's 78. Marcus Jones, the rookie, and he takes a shot on him. But usually Humphries a strong guy who likes to use that free hand and that shoulder to kind of ward off people. He can't do it now. In fact, he's got to think about throwing and then turning right away.
Saw him do that last Monday night.
Yeah.
So now 2nd down and 10. Humphries lost it very dangerously, and it's intercepted by Lynch. He's inside the 30 to the 25, still on his feet inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
Why are they throwing so much? And that's the Lynch mob. That's John Lynch's family.
From Solana Beach, California, went to nearby Torrey Pines High School, a 2-sport star in football and baseball.
Boy, as soon as Humphries let that one fly, you knew it was trouble. He wants to come. Now, this is a tight end. That's Roach. Roach actually got an illegal hit downfield that they didn't show. They didn't pick up. Melvin Johnson hit Roach and threw off his time, and that's where Humphries was throwing the ball.
Well, you saw the sign that said lynch mob. There might be a different kind of lynch mob waiting around after this game. The way things are going for San Diego. All of a sudden, the Buccaneers are in business. 1st and 10 at the Charger 19-yard line, and Dilfer's looking for Allstott, finds him on the far side, and he's down to the 13-yard line.
Let's go back to this last play. I thought there was some illegal contact. You cannot. Now here is Roach. He's going to come up the field, and there is Johnson. He's going to make contact on him. It looked like after the 5 yards. No, he didn't. He touched him a little bit, but that was just, he rerouted him nicely. No, Stan just overthrows that ball. But a good job by Johnson making him reroute.
Dilfer has gone over the 300-yard passing mark for just the 2nd time in his career. And Allstott carries down to the 11-yard line. His career high coming into the game today is 312. And right now, Dilfer sitting on 306 yards in the air.
Yeah, and the time of possession still in Tampa Bay's favor. And if you really, if you question that call that Tony Dungy made a series ago, well, you don't question it now because they get a turnover and look where they are. Now they're in a position to go ahead and do it the right way.
3rd and 3. Dilfer has an open receiver. Is it going to be 6? Close to the end zone, and just shy of a touchdown is Courtney Hawkins, but he is inside the 1.
What happened there? Clark, number 31, covering on the play, got messed up going in motion. I want you to watch the very cagey motion that Courtney Hawkins uses here. Now, there's Hawkins. Look at the man following him. Okay, there's 31. Now, he's going to lose him. Blank, right there. And that looks like not a lot, but you know what it is? It's 4 yards on the perimeter, and that was the difference between Hawkins getting open.
Pete Pearson has checked in as a tackle eligible to give us Derrick up and over the top. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. They will kill you, and if you do it in your own part of the field, you've almost got no chance to get away without having points put on you.
Not only turnovers, Ronnie, but the ability to then turn the turnovers into points.
There you go.
Turnovers
Absolutely.
deep into San Diego territory by the Buccaneers. San Diego does absolutely nothing with it, and now the last 2 Charger possessions turn into giving the ball away, and Tampa Bay is executed and taken a 22-17 lead.
Here's an interesting stat coming in. They're going for 2. Going into this game, they had given up 69 points on the giveaways, but they'd only gotten 26 on their takeaway. They improved that today. They got points off of the takeaway.
First 2-point conversion try of the year for Tampa Bay, and an eye on Jackie Harris, but it's overthrown. So they fail with a chance to go up by 7. Right now it's a 5-point lead for Tampa Bay. Orange is the color of the day, but there's still 6:02 left. Of the game, 22-17, 6:02 left in front of a sellout crowd at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. Couple of key interceptions thrown on the last 2 Charger possessions by quarterback Stan Humphries. We'll see if he can rally his team. Andre Coleman from the 3. And he brings it out just to the 16-yard line. Let's go back to the two-point conversion attempt a moment ago.
Tampa Bay forgot right here. This matchup, Jackie Harris on Kevin Ross. Well, Kevin Ross is not a safety right there. He used to be a cornerback. He played cornerback for 10 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. So they thought they were getting a tight end on a safety matchup, which usually Jackie Harris wins easily. And Jackie thought there was a little bit of holding going on there. That's one reason why matchups are so important, and you have to study who you match up and how you match up.
5:53 left, and Leonard Russell takes a handoff, and he picks up close to 3 yards out to the 20. Stopped there by Reagan Upshaw. You talked about turnovers, Ronnie.
You know, yeah, there it is right there. And pretty soon now, San Diego is in a position where they got to, like, air this thing out a little bit and push it down the field. You know, they're not sitting up with that nice, comfortable cushion. They're behind, and they're on the verge of getting upset.
Short drop, low, and broken up by Charles Dimry. Tony Martin, the intended receiver. Humphreys is hit on just 10 of 22 for 172 yards. He has 1 touchdown pass and 3 interceptions.
Charles Dimry here, a local guy, actually went to Oceanside High School, the same high school as Junior Seau. In fact, Junior Seau talks about his idols and guys that he looks up to. Well, the guy he looked up to was Charles Dimry, coming out of high school. Took his same number.
3rd down and 7. Humphrey steps out of trouble, wants a long ball, and has Tony Martin down the field, but Melvin Johnson with him step for step, and it's 3 and out for the San Diego offense. So Humphreys, who was coming off a game against Detroit, who had hit for 311 yards and 3 touchdowns, has been very poor here today.
Humphreys just not getting enough on that ball. Like we said, we talk about that shoulder. You know, that other arm has a lot to do with that throw as well. You kind of use that to pull back and whip your torso around. Clearly, he let that one float a bit.
Bennett to punt it away. And not a very good punt. This is returnable from Marshall. From his own
room, and he's got help.
Got a great block by Jerry Ellison, springing him inside the 40 and all the way down to the 34-yard line.
Look at Marciano.
Ellison absolutely plastered the San Diego defender.
Did you see Marciano, the special teams coach, run down the field? He just jumped all over Marshall. Bam!
That's a late wake-up call.
Very late. There, he doesn't know it, but he's about to get cleaned up by Jerry Ellison. Had he known it, I think he would have ducked. And there's Marciano, the special teams coach. A bit happy, I'd say.
1st and 10. Tampa Bay at the 35. Eric Red on the ground picks up close to 3. And right now, let's return to James Brown for a game break at our Fox Television Center. JB.
All right, Tom. Giants capitalizing on the turnover. Take a look at this nice move by Tyrone Wheatley. He tightropes his way into the end zone. 28-20. Arizona in the 4th. Back to Tom and Ron.
Whoa, they're fighting it out in the desert there, huh?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
That's where fights were meant to happen, like the old Wild West.
Speaking of fights, San Diego better wake up here and realize that they got quite a fight on their hands.
4:20 left to go from San Diego, and Tampa Bay in front 22-17. 2nd down and 7. They'll burn some more clock. All stop will come out well shy of the 1st down. It'll bring up 3rd and 6. And right now, if they were to send the field goal unit out, and they won't obviously with 3rd down, but if they did, they'd be looking at about a 47-yard field goal try. San Diego going to spend a timeout. So we'll do the same and be right back. At the Charger 12-yard line, it's 3rd down and 3. San Diego 1 timeout remaining. They hand it to Red, and he has enough for a 1st down inside the 10, down to the 6.
Chargers are going to have to start burning more timeouts, and they've got major problems. Major problems. And you would hope and you would think that Bobby Ross would be able to have his team in a position where they wouldn't look forward to Kansas City. But see, look at that. They got Junior Seau blocked. That's the key to getting that ball run inside.
5 yards, first down.
And it helps when you have the ball as long as they've had it.
And again, it was Allstott doing the blocking. First and goal. And they'll chew up some more time. Red staying on the ground. May have lost a yard, and San Diego will spend its final timeout of the game. So he talked about the Chargers. They have lost 3 consecutive games, but were able to bounce back, get a win with Sean Salisbury starting against Indianapolis. Had Stan Humphries return last week in a big way against Detroit in the victory on Monday night. They have enormous games on the schedule coming up, but they are in danger, and there's certainly 2:21 left, but they're in danger of a serious stubbing of the toe.
And you know, one thing I noticed today, even when Tampa Bay gave them the turnover and they drove and made some plays, they were never really able to put Tampa Bay out of it. They don't have that same kind of firepower on offense, and I think it goes back to not being able to run the ball as consistently as they could in the past. I mean, they've got a big guy in Leonard Russell, and they've got an offensive line that is big, but they've had problems there. They've had injuries. Courtney Hall, he's been out. You know, Papuno being out. I think those things all affected how they were able to perform on offense. And the defense has been on the field way too long.
The pitch to Eric Rett. And he will lose a couple of yards. Defensive charge led by Seau and Chris Mims. So this will take us down to the 2-minute warning. Tampa Bay leading 22-17. If they kick a field goal, they go up 25-17. San Diego would have a chance to get the ball back. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion ties it. We'll be right back. In San Diego, Tampa Bay in front of the Chargers, 22-17. It's a 3rd down and goal coming up for Tampa Bay. You know they're going to run it just to burn a little bit more clock. San Diego is out of timeout.
Yeah, I don't see Tony doing anything drastic here except putting himself in a position, centering the ball to line up and take his field goal. At this point, all you want to do is pad what you've already got and put the pressure on San Diego.
Allstott gets some of it back, and he gets very close to the end zone, but is denied.
Oh. And this could be very tempting for Tony.
Al Conway, the umpire, got run over.
They're just going to let it run here.
Well, they're going to let it run. It's 4th down and goal.
It almost looks like on the Tampa Bay sidelines, they had some second thoughts about maybe going for this thing. They didn't expect Allstott to rip off that long of a run.
Well, the play clock is down under 10. You can actually go for the touchdown here, Ronnie, and even if you don't make it, they have to go 99 yards the other way and score a touchdown to beat you.
That's true. But I think I'm going to go with the field goal. I'm going to take my points whenever I got a chance to take my points.
Well, Tampa Bay will now spend a timeout.
Because they remember what happened to Detroit last week on that Hail Mary at the end of the half. They don't want to give Stan Humphries any chance at all to beat them on a lucky play.
Tampa Bay stopping the clock with 1:14 to go.
Here's the points we talked about at the beginning of the game. 3rd down conversions. Tampa Bay has been very good at that. Trent Dilfer moving the football. San Diego, for the most part, has been decent in the red zone. And then we talked about the starting position for the special teams. That's been pretty even. But Tampa Bay in the red zone has been able to be productive and move the ball. And while they had the miss on the field goal, which isn't really reflected in this stat, they were able to do some things. They were able to get the field goal the one time and kind of stay and nitpick at them in their own red area.
1:14 left. They have sent the field goal kicker, Michael Husted, onto the field. They're having some of the local nutcases run out onto the field, which is delaying the action before this field goal try, and they're not getting any airtime today. But for Tony Dungy, his team trying to pull off what many figured couldn't happen, and that's come into San Diego, a hot team, and get a win. But there's still lots of time left. 19-yard field goal try by Husted, which would give Tampa Bay an 8-point lead if successful. And it is successful. 25-17, Buccaneers in front. The Chargers have 1:11, no timeouts remaining to go down the field, get a touchdown, and they have to get a 2-point conversion.
You know, whatever this offense and whatever Stan Humphries hasn't been able to do today or do, and whatever's gone wrong, they have to put out of their mind, because they still have one last shot to win this football game and stay very much in the hunt in their division.
Well, it would be rare indeed for this Tampa Bay franchise in general to come out west and get a victory.
And then the thing you have to remember, you know, you're talking about, as we look at what has happened in Tampa Bay on the West Coast, you have to remember San Diego now going down the field with no timeout. In essence, it becomes a perimeter game for them, and it becomes a hurry-up game.
So Husted set to kick it away. Andre Coleman has returned 5 kickoffs for touchdowns in his 3-year career. He's a yard deep and will bring it out across the 20 and is wrapped up at the 22-yard line by Jerry Ellison. 1:05 to play.
I think Humphries has to start to use all his weapons now. Charlie Jones had the big play in the beginning of the game. Where is he? We haven't heard from him since then. Let's go back to him. Martin, 1 catch. Got to get back to him. Those are your guys right now.
Humphries 10 of 23, 172 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. 1:05 left. And Humphries throws to the near side. Tackled inbounds is Omar Ellison, but a penalty flag is down. This might be a late hit against Warren Sapp. Yep, personal foul, roughing the passer.
And that's huge. That is huge.
Well, you talk about giving away 15 yards, stopping the clock.
They're going to get the shot. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 99 on the defense. Be added on to the play was over. Touchdown!
You know what this reminds me of? Sapp right there. Nobody getting great pressure. The ball is gone. He's allowed 1 step. If you take a quarterback down to the ground like that, they're going to call you. I mean, he had his 1 step, but they felt it was a little late.
So a 15-yard penalty, and making a catch as Fletcher steps out of bounds. 48-yard line. Clock stops. 53 seconds remain.
That's a bad sign to have that penalty like that. That reminds me of the game against Green Bay and San Francisco. You know, they were coming down the field, and San Francisco had that big 15-yard penalty, and it moved the ball to midfield with almost in 2 plays. Well, look where the ball is right now.
Almost in midfield. San Diego a fighting chance under a minute. Drop it off to Fletcher over the middle. He'll be tackled at the 42 against San Diego. No timeouts remaining. And now 45 seconds as Humphries hurries into the line of scrimmage. And he will spike the ball, stopping the clock with 39 seconds left. And not over yet.
At one point here, Monty Kiffin is going to have to take his defense. He's a defensive coordinator. He's going to have to take his defense and tighten it down. On the plus side of the 50, as they're coming down, the rule is to go ahead and stay back and give them the short stuff, especially since they have no timeout. But as they get down the field here, closer to the 30, he might have to tighten up the coverage and go more man.
Humphries unloads, very short gain to Fletcher, who will escape the tackle of Charles Dimry and get out of bounds.
That's a big miscue there. A missed tackle. Looked like Nickerson there, or Demery, missed the tackle initially. And what that does, you know, you were looking at 30-some seconds. Now that thing stops. It would have been rolling. There's Demery right there.
Stepped out of bounds at the 35-yard line. It's a 3rd down for San Diego. Throwing to the far side through the hands of Tony Martin, who only has 1 catch for 18 yards today. It'll bring up 4th down and 2 for San Diego.
And he's got 2 drops. That's the 2nd drop. Tony Martin catches this ball. They are sitting very nice. That ball's catchable. That ball is catchable. He's got to come down with that.
Well, this is the game one way or the other for San Diego. They can keep their hopes alive or more than likely say goodbye. 4th and 2, short drop, 1st down, catch is made by Omar Ellison to the 30-yard line. Clock rolling. It's at 20 seconds.
He might have to clock it. He's going to throw it on the ground.
See Eric Moten trying to pull up Ellison. And now Humphreys will spike the ball, stopping the clock with 13 seconds.